And we're here on part 2, everyone! Woohoo!
Okay, I'm gonna hush. If you guys still want me to read for the doctor's Bendy.
Yes! We'll
right
we'll just go with
Yes,
Agent Dr.
yes.
Bendy!
Guys,
Yes,
please.
Rachel. Well, you're a good voice actor. Better than me.
Merci.
Okay.
She plays a
do
good
you want-
doctor.
Okay.
This is a lot of text. You sure you want to read this?
I'll do it, but, you know.
Let's do it.
Yes.
Alright. I guess I'm reading now. Okay.
I'll read this part. Okay.
Okay.
Al sat on a stool beside the doctor, answering the man's questions as the two examined Knight's extensive burns. The two nurses put proper dressings loosely onto the wounds to try to alleviate some of the pain and keep the burns moist, while they got a nearby tub ready and filled with water for further treatment. And that's an actual treatment. I actually had to do a little research.
Oh, wow. Youch.
Also, aloe vera helps too. Helps them heal faster.
It does, but with more extensive burns, not first or second degree, but like second to third degrees, you need to do stuff like they actually have a special tub that they put burn.
Katie, not now.
Okay, don't get the lessons, please. We don't want to go
Okay.
the full dynamic of it.
Rose, step
Okay.
back.
I'm sorry.
Alrighty, up to you.
I shall read this one, and then the other one anybody can take. The old boat was grateful. Grateful for the efforts to. I can read that.
Lessen
His friends
discomfort.
discomfort, but noticed that the doctor was looking more
Uncertain.
uncertain. The more he
Examine.
examined the Pope Jester.
What is wrong, sir? The
Anybody?
doctor turned his head to Owl.
I'm going to be honest here, Mr. Owl. I only have experience in treating humans. I'm not sure how to treat burns ranging from first to third degree on a drain beam like this.
You may call me Owl, sir.
Dr. Robertson.
Okay, it's Dr. Bendy.
That's really hard to say. Like, ours are really hard to say in Bendy's voice.
It's okay. Answered the man beside him.
I would have liked to have met under better circumstances.
Indeed.
Agreed.
Agreed.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Agreed, Al, before he turned his gaze back down to tonight.
As for treating a dream being, sadly, that is one of the things I do not have the knowledge on. It never occurred to me until now, as NiGHTS has never been hurt this badly before.
That's unfortunate.
Dr. Robinson replied with a sigh.
It would make things much easier to have some idea. Now, if he was human, I'd at least know what to work with.
Mm-hmm.
Al poked up.
Turning to
Light bulb.
I believe I may have a way for that to happen, Doctor, but we will need Xavier to do it. In the meantime, please try to do all you can for him. The doctor nodded slowly, a little confused.
All right. We'll at least try to keep him comfortable until you get back.
Okay. the old boat nodded, looking at the Pope Jester one more time.
Please hold on just a little longer, NiGHTS. Owl stood on a stool, turned towards the doorway to the exam room, and tried to fly. He didn't dare to try teleporting in the waking world, but due to his missing tail feathers, he could only manage to glide to the doorway, almost falling over in his landing.
Okay, real talk, I actually have a bird that's missing most of her tail feathers, and it's not really a glide, it's more of flailing your wings heavily trying to keep in the air.
Aww.
So this mental image is kind of funny to me that he's just trying so hard.
Yes.
Alright, go Ray. Go, Ree.
Okay.
Go, Ree. Go, go.
One of the noses walked over and picked him up off the ground.
Here, let me help.
Owl
Owl
turned to
told-
her into her spot. Sorry. Go, Ree. Go ahead.
I think
I
I
was
got the
told
reading part. They got the reading part. They
I
can
was-
read it.
Owl told us to her in surprise.
Oh, thank you, mademoiselle.
The
The
nurse
nurse
smiled
smiled.
before looking-
Get out the room.
I still
Go,
gotta
Ree.
find
Go,
oh my
Ree.
God.
Go.
I'm like,
Okay.
I thought you were gonna read.
it's a nurse.
The nurse smiled before looking back at Dr. Robertson.
Would it be alright if I assisted Owl in retrieving his friend?
Go right ahead, Miss Ashby.
Hey! That's not my name!
It's
The doctor replied with a nod.
I believe Miss Megumi and I can handle things here.
Miss Ashby. Okay, got it.
Miss Ashby nodded and carried Owl out toward the waiting room.
Okay. Dr. Robinson. Okay.
I need to
Okay.
drink water.
I- Dr. Robinson. Slide. Okay.
Yep.
Looking down at the
Unusual.
unusual patient in front of him, Knight was no longer gasping, but the doctor could tell that he was still in pain. Having treated so many patients before, this one I can't read that word.
Lance
Glanced up at the Miss. I can't read that word.
Megumi.
What a weird name.
There's a reason for it.
Always vitals.
From
For our
best
best
guess.
guess, holding.
Everybody goes at once.
I got the nice nurse.
Okay.
From our best guess, holding, sir. He seems to be stable at the moment.
On to the nurse.
The doctor let out another sigh.
And we don't even know if that is even accurate.
He felt quiet upon hearing Knight was a soft whisper. He couldn't give him any medicine to help with the pain. Not wishing to risk killing the jester, he did the next best thing to medicine.
Help me get him into the tub over here. Oh my god! I've never had to do Benny's voice for so long.
Okay.
Give me a second while I get a drink of water.
Hey, I pretty much had to be. I had to literally ask for Reala's help.
She doesn't even have to
Alrighty.
do Jackal's voice for
Normally
a long
I'm just doing
paragraph.
Nocturne's voice, which is basically just me, just slightly more higher pitch.
Oh boy.
She's super hyper. Woo!
Okay, is someone gonna read this long paragraph?
I'll take it.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna give my vocal cords a break for a minute.
While answering the occasional question from the slowly dwindling number of people in the waiting room, Dianella was keeping watch for Knight Marins from a less noticeable spot in the room, just as he said he would. Every so often, a nurse would walk over to update him on Knight's condition.
He soon spotted Mr. Edwards' car drive into the parking lot. As soon as it had stopped, Molly was out of the vehicle and practically running towards the entrance. The metal jester would have laughed, and the situation had been different.
Before he can say anything, she had passed his slightly hidden vantage point and was talking to the secretary.
Excuse me, did you two see a jester with an owl?
The secretary pointed right at Dianella before his sister can finish her question.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, I got this one. The metallic gesture gave Molly, I can't read that.
Fleeting.
Fleeting smile floated over just as Miss Sinclair and Mr. Edwards walked into the waiting room.
Glad you can make it.
How is he?
Asked Molly, nearly in tears.
No better, no worse.
Her brother uttered in reply.
It's Miss Sinclair again.
Kitty. Sorry. Well, he's still alive. That's good.
Uttered Miss Sinclair.
But he hasn't woken up!
Dynamo punched the wall, making everyone around him jump. Molly could see his eyes glowing red in frustration.
That was real reactions right there.
I know! Sorry for the jump scare, people! We're just doing what it says here.
Okay.
Holy days.
She stepped closer to him.
Xavier, calm down. Knight is still alive. That's something to be happy about.
The metallic, oh my goodness.
Metallic.
Metallic gesture turned his head to his sister.
For how much longer? His life is on a needle's point right now. If it falters, even the slightest bit.
He didn't finish. His hands
Clutched.
Clutched into fists. Anybody else want to read?
The poor security.
I'm still here.
Go on. Does anybody want this, or should I?
Do you want me to read the narration for a while, dearie?
Raptor.
Go ahead. It'll give you a break from Bendy.
Okay. The poor secretary had a phone in her hand, but was currently too scared to dial anything, unsure if calling security would even be able to stop the robot if he turned violent. Even the officers in the room were hesitant to approach the living suit of armor. Okay, who came up with the Edward 2.0?
Frickin' Alphonse!
It's Al!
Oh, hi, brother! Apparently I appeared in his fan fiction. Dang it, Al! I wanted to join in!
Okay then, moving on.
Sorry, Edward.
Knowing
Yeah,
he
he's
wouldn't
too
hurt
short to be in this. Who you going tiny little face from?
Guys,
Go.
let me try that again. Knowing he wouldn't hurt her, Molly slowly put a hand on Dianel's shoulder.
The doctors are doing their best, Xavier. Give them a break. They haven't had to deal with dream beings before.
Am I still going?
I could
Yep.
take it. Diana pulled away from her, glaring at her before looking down without a word, his eyes reverting back to blue. It was then that Will and Helen ran in, having rode their bikes together to get to the hospital. Miss Sinclair and Mr. Edwards explained to them on what was going on. Xavier.
Everyone turned to see Al sitting in a nurse's arms in front of the double doors.
I got this one. Diana swiftly moved to float in front of the old bird.
Ow! What happened? Is Knight alright?
Dr. Robertson and the other humans are doing everything they can for him, despite how limited their options are.
The old bird
Informed.
informed his friend.
But we could make things easier and give Knight a better chance. Xavier, if you could use your powers to revert him to human form.
I got it.
Go ahead.
Okay.
The dreamers all perked up with hope upon hearing Owl's words. The robotic jester, however, let his gaze fall.
With what happened to my powers earlier, I wasn't sure if I should risk it, or if he could even handle the process with how critical his condition is. Otherwise, I might have tried sooner. He's so weak. I don't know.
Xavier, I know you're still punishing yourself for what happened,
said Mr. Edwards.
But none of us could have predicted this. For what it's worth, you did what you could, and we got him away from Nightmare in the end.
Helen walked up to the metal jester.
Please, Xavier, if there is a chance, we ought to try it.
Will nodded.
Knight's is stronger than he looks, Xavier. If it will save his life, go for it.
Molly set a hand on the robotic.
I got it, dearie. Molly set a hand on the robotic jester's shoulder.
It's okay. If you need permission to go through with this, I am giving it to you. Please help my boy.
Alright, I guess I was like, am I still going? Am I not?
Go, Raptor, go!
Okay.
Yeah. Give the dragon a break. Have the raptor get a chance.
Okay, I'll keep going for a while. Just tell me when to stop.
Okay.
Breathe, child. Hearing their words, Dianola cycled a bunch of air through his systems. A robotic version of a sigh. I know that line. That is Katie's line. She has Andrew do that so often.
All right.
He looked around to each of his friends.
Sorry for snapping earlier.
He earned a chorus of forgiveness. Turning to the secretary, hello? What?
Go ahead. I was doing a chorus of forgiveness.
Okay. I was like, what?
Go ahead.
Sounds like a chibi.
Just do it.
Okay. Jeez. Turning to the secretary, the metal jester gestured to... you guys used it twice? Come on.
This is different.
Gestured to the wall he damaged.
I'll try to fix that.
Surprised by this, the woman blinked.
That would be appreciated.
But for now, please follow us back to Knight's, Xavier.
Owl requested, Miss Ashby leading the jester back down the hall. Dianola carefully floated over to the injured jester laying within the water-filled tub when they arrived at the exam room. Looking down at his nephew, the robotic jester gently held one of his gloved hands.
Please, let this work.
He closed his eyes and concentrated, the stone in his chest glowing bright. In a flash...
Okay, got this one.
Okay, I'm shutting up.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Okay,
I'm sorry, I read fast.
Okay.
Also, guys, a little note, it is 11 p.m. where I'm at.
We're almost done.
Okay.
Yes, we're almost done with this.
In a flash, August, bones and bruises, was laying in the tub. Okay. Mr. Okay, I can read that word. Robertson? Dr. Robertson. And the nurses... I can read that
Stared.
word. Stared in amusement?
Amazement.
Amusement. Okay. At what they had just witnessed.
I think you can treat him.
I did say that.
I said my line.
I said with a small smile.
The break there is like one line too early.
I'll fix it.
Dr. Robertson smiled back.
I believe you were right. Let's get to work.
There's the break.
Okay.
And here's the part we've all been waiting for. Can I read this? Can I read the narration for this part, please?
We're not stopping you. Go ahead.
Yes.
Guys,
Yes.
so
Go for
I'm going to take over this character, right? This new character coming in, or is he coming in the next chapter?
Please
she's
tell
here.
me.
She's
please,
here.
Please tell me I won't do anything crazy
Okay,
in
so-
this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So let Kat read it because it's gonna be awesome.
Out
be
of
awesome.
out of question.
Everybody
I have a
else
question.
grab your popcorn.
I have a question here. Is this going to be cringy? Am I
It
going to be
depends.
cringy? Am I going to be softy? Am I going to be
No.
so mushy or something?
You
Because I have my
Guys,
pride,
it
you know.
will be-
Why don't we just
Good.
read it? Golly! Shut up! Do not make me bring self in. Self. He's the first Nightmare.
Yes, he is.
Moving on.
Out within the city, Reala was watching the beautiful chaos of the invasion from on top of a small building, a pleased expression on his face. It was so much fun watching the humans run. They were so weak and cowardly here. He hadn't caused any major injuries to any of his victims yet. The Nightmare in general wanted to have those meddlesome visitors be the first to fall by his hand. The Red Jester went to follow the other Nightmares as they moved to find new victims to torment. He would find the Dreamers sooner or later. His grin widened at the thought. It turned to a grimace when Reala suddenly felt a sharp pain in his chest. He stopped and held it tightly, letting out a small gasp of discomfort. Somewhere deep inside the Red Jester, within the darkest depths inside the core of his being, he felt something beginning to grow. The pain faded away almost as quickly as it had come, to Reala's relief. But he felt different.
What is going on?
He uttered, rubbing his chest in confusion. It was like a void within him had become a little less empty, like a missing puzzle piece had been set into place, bringing a warmth with it that he didn't understand. But the remaining emptiness became even more pronounced. It was what was causing the pain. For the first time, Reala felt sick. His mind began spinning. Feeling very dizzy, Reala set his feet on the ground and leaned against a wall to keep himself from falling over. He couldn't remember the last time he felt so weak or disoriented.
What's happening to me?
Out of the corner of his eye, the Nightmare in General saw a group of Nightmares heading his way. Not wanting his reputation ruined, he quickly regained his composure, standing up as straight as he could, a stern expression hiding his inner panic. Excuse me. Besides the occasional glance, the Nightmarens pretty much ignored him as they passed. More interested in destroying buildings, cars, and just about anything else possible, while scaring the living daylights out of the unfortunate humans in their path.
Better than Black Arms. Just saying.
Reala watched them as he tried to recover, hoping it would help him forget about it. To his confusion,
I'm sorry, but this sounded like the plot point of Shadow the Hedgehog. The beginning, at least. Oh, great. I'm not going to be Mr. Edgelord, am I? Continue. I apologize.
To his confusion, he didn't enjoy their havoc as much as he did earlier. Seeing all the destruction and fear, more aware of it happening around him, the Red Jester started getting this odd sense of sadness. This was wrong. He tried to shake his head clear of these thoughts, only for Xavier's words to echo within his mind.
What have you done to me?
Fear slowly filled the Nightmare in General, but he suppressed it with rage towards Xavier and the other visitors with him.
Focus on the anger. Forget those other feelings. Don't let them take you.
He whispered to himself. You guys want to try reading? Do you guys want to try reading or no?
I'm sorry. It's just ironic for me that this guy, made from fear, is suddenly afraid.
Hey! It's basically written in the script, okay?
Yeah, I know. I just find it funny.
It's okay. I'm pretty much his inner light. That's true.
Aww.
What? What? He's a softie towards me, okay?
Don't
worry. Don't worry. I made him more docile.
All right.
Keyword being more.
I guess I'll just keep going.
Fight me.
Continue.
Reed, did you want to say something real quick?
No.
Continue.
Okay. Jeez. Calm down. Raindrops finally begin to fall from the darkening clouds above. Reala looked up at the sky, feeling the rain as it fell on his mask and face. The rain here wasn't different from rain in his world. Why did it feel so new? Like he had never felt it before. As if he had never seen rain fall from dark storm clouds. Should he tell Master Wiseman of these strange thoughts? A flare of defiance told him he'd rather not. Why should he see Wiseman? Reala shook his head. Where had that idea come from?
What is wrong with me?
The rain soon started to fall harder, and claws of lightning ripped through the sky. Can I get some lightning in here? Thunder crashed above the city angrily. By now, the jester was soaking wet, and the lower Nightmares had moved on, leaving him alone among the wreckage of the streets and his own thoughts.
All right, who upset Ixion?
Ixion, you make a great background. Anyway.
Okay.
Reala suddenly heard something through the sound of the storm.
Huh?
Was that crying? Where was it coming from? He looked around, slowly floating down the street, and soon spotted a little 9-year-old girl curled up beside an overturned car, completely drenched and shivering. The girl's head shot up, feeling that she was being watched. Upon seeing the nightmare jester, her expression turned to terror. She backed away slightly, frightened of the dangerous-looking being in front of her. Reala stopped, staring at her. She was afraid, and he didn't like it? He saw her shivering and noticed how cold it had gotten with the rain. It wasn't too much of a bother to him, but she seemed more vulnerable to the change in temperature.
She should at least get out of the rain.
Not really knowing why, the red jester leaned down and tried to speak calmly to the little girl.
Hey, human, why don't you get out of the rain?
The little girl cowered away from him in response, shuffling backward. She started crying again as her back met the wrecked car behind her. Why wouldn't she listen to him? Or better yet, why didn't she get up and run away like the others did? She could freeze out here if she stayed. That's when Reala saw his reflection in one of the still intact car windows above the little girl's head, and realized just how scary he looked to the poor child crying in front of him.
Wait, since when did I care about humans? Or worried about if I looked scary to them or not?
Reala looked back down at the little girl.
She should freeze if she's stupid enough to stay out here.
The little girl, as she cried, began to whimper.
Ree, why don't you do it?
My leg hurts.
Reala, upon hearing that, recalled when his own leg was broken. He remembered how painful it had been, and how he was secretly grateful for Dianala's aid. For this girl to be going through that kind of pain, alone like this, in this weather, he couldn't imagine how hard that would be if her leg was indeed broken. He slowly lowered himself down to one knee.
Would you let me look at it? What the heck am I saying? I am the Nightmare in General, Reala. I do not show any sympathy to anyone. This is absolute rubbish, I tell you. Rubbish!
Truth.
The little girl hesitantly looked up at him. Fear and pain etched on her face. A crash of thunder made her flinch.
She's in pain. Alone.
I'm sorry, I just noticed the note pop up.
Just ignore that. Just ignore that. That happens. Can we just... Let me say that again. She's in pain. Alone. Scared.
Reala, on instinct, slowly took his mask off, setting it on the ground beside him, his expression softening.
You aren't alone anymore. Let me help.
The girl whimpered, but didn't do much else as Reala finally sat beside her, using his own body to partially shield her from the rain as he carefully examined her leg, which he found was, in fact, broken. This was why she didn't get up earlier. How long had she been like this? Reala sighed.
This needs someone else to look at. I am unfamiliar with human technology.
Anatomy.
Somebody's giggly.
Do we need to pause and take a break?
No, it's anatomy is biology.
This can lead
Body.
into the other discussion we have planned for later.
We'll talk
All right,
about this
go.
another time. Continue.
The girl watched the strange gesture, still a little scared.
Where's my mommy?
She cautiously asked him. Her mother. He remembered that meant something along the lines of a female caretaker or protector. He looked at her.
I do not know, child.
He noticed that the girl was shivering terribly. It had gotten colder and a lot darker since he had discovered her within all the debris. Couldn't leave her here like this. Not now.
Why do I have sudden concern for these weak humans? I'm not a homunculus. Why does this urge to help? I despise humans for ruining our plans, for turning knights against me, for enraging Master Wiseman, for...
While Reala was deep in thought, he didn't notice the little girl scoot closer to him. He suddenly felt her lean against him for warmth and comfort. The red jester tensed up, his blue eyes filled with surprise as they turned down to look at her. She'd fallen asleep, very tired after being so scared. He felt her shivering against him, her breathing shallow. Slowly, yet not really knowing why, he wrapped an arm around her. Seeing a blanket hanging within the wreckage of the vehicle, he leaned over, mindful of the child, and pulled it out, draping the large cloth over the girl to try and keep her dry and warm, or at least drier and warmer than she was. He didn't dare move her at the risk of making her leg worse. The two sat there together for the rest of the stormy night.
This is gonna be a long night, I just know it.
Applause.
That was my little input! My last input, everyone!
I definitely.
I will say it was a lot cheesier before we fixed
I
it up.
know, and I'm guilty for actually taking a peek.
You!
I didn't read all of it, okay? I was only seeing the parts with Reala, and yeah, I can understand why.
I think Jonesy sent me a few of these chapters to proofread before, but I can't remember.
No pixies.
Okay. Do you want to do a closeout for this? Because we're still recording.
Well,
Yes.
this was a long
Yeah, we
chapter.
can do
It's
less
been
than-
in 2 parts, but yeah, look forward to more, people. Hopefully we can get the cheese factor out.
I like cheddar.
I like pizza.
See you around, everybody.
Yes. See you all later.
So long.
Later, prehistoric pals.
And of course,
Good night.
approve of the dragons here. Yes, approve of the
Good night,
reptiles.
everybody.
Bye.
Hashtag Dr. Bendy.
Pleasant nightmares, everyone.
Sweet dreams.
Well,
I'm
if it's
gonna
pleasant, then it ain't really a nightmare.
I'm gonna have some wine after this. I really do need to get some right now. Yeah, you can go.
Yeah, well, what?
Yeah, so see you all later, everyone. Bye.